Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast number 20. Hard to believe, 20 of these. When I did the first one, I just kind of thought it was a throwaway. Didn't figure anybody would be interested in listening to me talk for 15, 20 minutes, but I guess I was wrong. You're here, and thank you for that. I'm recording this on Thursday, June 25th. Right now, my wife is having a garage sale or rummage sale. I'm not sure how to distinguish which is which. I guess if you have a garage, it's a garage sale and a rummage sale. But if you're just doing it out in your yard, then I guess it's a rummage sale and a yard sale. It's all making sense to me now. But because of that, I am hiding out in the man cave. I do not like rummage sales. It's not like a snob thing or anything like that. It's just it makes me really uncomfortable. I find them very invasive, to have strangers coming into any part of your house, be that your garage, your yard, and then just picking through your stuff. Dare I say, rummaging through your stuff. And I kind of feel like I'm being judged a little bit as they're picking through stuff, like, ugh, look at this perfect keto shirt. Who'd wear one of these? Well, yeah, obviously. That's why it's in my garage rather than in my closet. And speaking of perfect keto, if you're watching this on Monday, the 28th of June, today is the last day of the 5 for 35% off exclusive deal. So just throwing that out there. Link down in the description. That's all I have to say about that. So back to the rummage sale thing. Yeah, I don't like the idea of people picking through my stuff. Generally, I would prefer to just give it to charity. But the wife wanted to have a rummage sale. Happy wife, happy life. And I'm able to get rid of a bunch of my fat clothes now. I think I got rid of probably close to 20 shirts and at least a dozen pairs of khakis. So, if we get a couple bucks for that, cool. It's fun kind of clearing out the closet. Interesting trying on some of these things and just seeing that these were pants I used to not be able to fit into because they were too tight. Now I've got 4 extra inches, to spare. Another thing I don't like about rummage sales is the whole haggling thing that goes on over tiny, tiny amounts. You price something at 50 cents and someone says, I'll give you a quarter for it. And then she walks back and gets in a Lexus SUV after haggling over a quarter. Back in my days working in corporate America as a trainer, one of the classes that I used to taught was on influencing skills and negotiation. And as a result, I get really, really turned off when people want to haggle badly. And you've probably experienced this if you've ever had a rummage sale, garage sale, yard sale. Someone will come and they'll look at what you've got, it's a boom box or something, and there's a little scratch on it. And they are like, oh, you've got $15 on this, but there's a scratch, I'll give you $5. And when people employ that tactic, that sort of, I'm going to insult you or what you're trying to sell, and then act like I'm doing you a favor by giving you a third of what you're asking. Just doesn't work for me. I'm pretty much inclined to just say, get out of my garage. Go. Don't come back. Now contrast that with this. Someone grabs the boombox, comes up and says, oh man, this would be just perfect for my workshop or my daughter's room or the kitchen or whatever. Oh man, I'd love to buy this. I'm on a little bit of a budget though. Is there any way I could talk you into taking less? My immediate inclination there is to say yes. Do you have a price in mind? And then, they'll throw out a price and then you say, okay, I'll meet you in the middle and we're both happy. So I find this strategy works very well. First, compliment whatever it is. Say, oh wow, this is in great shape. You must have really taken good care of it. If it's a little beat up, you say, wow, it looks like, you got a lot of use out of this, but something positive. Follow that up with a reason for why someone should give you a better price. Not an insulting reason. Something like, you got a budget, or maybe you throw out some sort of a bundle volume type deal. Like, I'm going to buy all of these 3 things or 4 things or 8 things. Can you see any movement on the price? Sort of a bulk buy deal, kind of like 5 for 35% off. And when you phrase the counter offer, do it in a very soft sort of way, like, could you see your way clear to? Is there any way I could talk you into? Something like that. It's something where it's almost always going to get a yes answer. And once you get someone starting to say yes, then it's easier to move them down the path that you want to influence them on. So there you go. That's a brief little chunk of Steve's former life as a corporate trainer. And that's also why I will be hanging out in the basement pretty much all day today. And now we'll move into some Serious Keto channel news. I get a lot of recipes submitted to me from viewers. A lot. And early on in the channel, when I was doing chaffles especially, this was a great sort of feeder tube for me, because people were essentially doing the work for me, giving me chaffle recipes, and then I was whipping out chaffle videos, giving them credit for it. Everybody was happy. And from there, recipes just kept coming. And I think that's great, because it shows that people are enthusiastic about cooking, and that's one of the reasons I created this channel, is I want people to be enthusiastic about cooking, to have fun, and to experiment. So the recipes that I get generally fall into one of 2 categories. Either someone is really, really proud of a recipe they've created and they want me to try it and give it the Serious Keto stamp of approval, or they're like 90% of the way there. And they know that there's something missing, but they just don't know what. So they want me to try it out and figure out what's going to get them to perfection, or what would get them at least to the point that I would be happy to call it a Serious Keto recipe. Between people using the contact form on my website, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I have gotten so many recipes submitted to me that if I tried one a day, I probably wouldn't be caught up for 4 months. That's how many I have. And that would also mean I'm not working on the stuff that I want to work on, the things that I've promised you. Also, because I'm the only keto person in this family and I don't generally throw away any food unless it just is absolutely inedible, if someone submits a bread recipe to me, or buns, or pizza crust, I'm eating that for the next 5 or 6 meals. And that slows me down in terms of being able to experiment on other recipes. Also, those recipes that are 90% of the way there, you'd think, oh, well, Steve's just got to get the last 10%. That last 10% is always the hardest. That's why it takes me so long to get some recipes out, why there was such a big gap between my original corn tortilla recipe and the paneer version that I came out with a few weeks ago, is you get close, and you're so close, and you keep trying things one at a time, one batch at a time, until you get it. And that's pretty much the hardest part for me of any recipe. So if you're one of the people that has submitted a recipe to me, I don't want you to feel bad that you did it. I think it's great. I just want you to know that I may not get to it anytime soon. I might not even get to it. It's entirely possible. And for those recipes that I've received, I'm going to prioritize the ones that come from my executive channel members. So I'm not trying to sell anybody here on being a channel member. If you want to be a channel member, be a channel member because you want to donate to the cause, that you want to help offset some of my costs of running this channel. So I'm not trying to sell perks to people who decide to be any one of the 3 levels of channel members. What I am doing is saying that as my way of saying thank you to these channel members, I'm going to prioritize any recipe that they send to me. So for right now, we're going to kind of pump the brakes on sending Steve recipes for a little while. I'm sure at some point there'll be something I'm really eager to try out and I'm kind of stumped, and I know that there are plenty of you out there with cooking and baking experience that I can draw upon. So when that time comes, I'll ask and I will be ready and waiting for your recipes. When I released last week's podcast, I got a couple of comments from people that felt that there was something weird going on. First off, there was a point where someone commented, "You've only got 60 views on this, but 279 likes. How is that possible?" Well, it's possible because I think YouTube analytics was screwed up that day. When I went into my channel dashboard at the time that I got that comment saying it had only been viewed 60 times, it had been viewed 2,100 times. So something wasn't cascading through the system in terms of views. There are no shenanigans going on. There's nothing I am doing to manipulate likes or dislikes or anything like that. The only power that I have over likes and dislikes is I can click thumbs up once or thumbs down once on any one of my videos. That's the extent of my power. The other comment that I got was from someone who was curious as to how, when this video had just been released minutes ago, there was already like 59 comments or something like that. One of the perks that I offer as my way of saying thank you to my channel members at all levels is they get to view my videos as soon as I upload them. Sometimes that's just a day ahead of when I plan on posting them. Sometimes it's a week. You know, right now it's Thursday. I'm recording this podcast. I will get it uploaded and they'll be able to watch it this weekend. The rest of you who are not channel members, you'll see it on Monday. There's never going to be any exclusive content. I'm never going to have like a paywall behind which certain videos are hidden that you can't get to. It's just sometimes that I get a little bit ahead of the game and I've got a video done or 2 videos done, and it gives my members a chance to watch them, feel a little bit special, but also they may find mistakes that I made that then I can correct or I can add to the description or the comments, or if it's something I screwed up on my website with the recipe, I can get it fixed. So in a way, they're sort of like my guinea pigs. But again, I'm not trying to push channel membership on anybody. If you want to be a channel member, do it because it feels good to you, not because there's some extra perks. In last week's podcast, I also talked about some of the comments that I get. Some are specifically trolling sort of comments. Others, I think, are just sort of couched in the ignorance about diet and about nutrition and about keto that, you know, it's to be expected, I think, because this is all they hear from the media. And what's funny is I got a couple of these comments literally minutes after I had posted that podcast, not on the podcast itself, but on a couple of other videos. So I've got the one where I did the 72-hour fast, and here's a comment that I received. You lost me at. Remember, that's like the first phrase that just sort of sets me off. You lost me at. So he's not doing well so far. You lost me at didn't lose weight due to macros, exclamation point. Unnecessary. I have a degree in nutrition. Oh, awesome. That pretty much shoots your credibility right there in my book. It's not your macros, it's the total amount of calories you intake. Calories in, calories out. Not sure what's so difficult about that. So my new strategy on any sort of comment like that is I'm going to link them to the obesity code out on Amazon. And I'm sure they won't buy it. But the cool thing is, anytime someone uses one of my Amazon links, there's a cookie that's put on their browser, and anything they purchase in the next 24 hours, I get a tiny commission on. So I just want to be completely transparent about that. Anytime any of you click on any of my links down in the description below, whether you purchase that product or a different product or a whole bunch of products, I get a tiny commission. So if you're looking to support the Serious Keto channel, that's one of the ways that you can do it. Or if you're looking to not support the Serious Keto channel, then don't use one of my links. This next comment came from the Aldi Bread review. The keto diet will kill people. It's bullshit about carbs being bad for you. So I linked him to the obesity code. And he responded, you've got to be kidding me. Some idiot, Dr. Jason Fung, some idiot, wrote a book which goes against 60 million years of evolution, where over 90% of our diet we were evolved to eat starches and carbs. Proven by science in the fossil record. This modern diet in the long term is going to kill people by clogging their arteries with fat. Isn't ketosis, keto's namesake, one of the stages of death? It's irresponsible. It's kind of amazing that someone can pack that much ignorance into a single comment. I'm not going to get into like evolution versus creationism, but what I do know is that regardless of your beliefs, agriculture, not 60 million years old. Additionally, this comment shows one of the more common symptoms of keto ignorance, this notion that we don't eat carbs at all. I probably eat more green leafy vegetables and cruciferous vegetables since going keto than I ever did pre-keto. I'm not shying away from carbs. I'm just shying away from processed, garbage, sugar-laden flours and junk like that. So I don't know that I'll necessarily be doing this as a regular thing because I don't want to give any of these goofballs their 15 seconds of internet fame, whatever that's worth on the Serious Keto channel. But periodically, if I get some especially chuckle-worthy ones, I will share them. And finally, we will close out this podcast with a frequently asked question. Probably the two most frequently asked questions I get are you in broadcasting, or were you in broadcasting, and how tall are you? So just in case you're wondering and haven't seen me reply, 5'9", 5 foot 9 inches. I do not know what that is in centimeters, for those of you outside of the States. As for broadcasting, no, I am not in broadcasting. I don't know if maybe at some point someone will stumble onto this channel and I will be at some point in the future. I don't know. Love to have a cooking show. That'd be fun. Not so much to have the cooking show as just to have somebody to wash dishes for me. Because washing dishes, in fact, the setup, like putting up, I got lights here, the camera, the mic, the whole setup and takedown is about 15 minutes each. And then just, the washing dishes, that's my least favorite part. I'm just in general not into a lot of the administrative aspects of this whole thing. I do them because I have to, because I'm a one-man show, but I'd rather just be cooking. In terms of my voice, it's what I've got. It's what I was born with. I think maybe as part of a corporate trainer, I developed it a little bit better because, I want to project, I want to fill a room with my presence, I guess. So that's what it is. And I've had people tell me that I sound like Casey Kasem. I don't know that I hear that. I'm Casey Kasem. There, maybe if I do it that way. I'm Casey Kasem, and we're counting down the top 40 chaffles here on Serious Keto. I don't know. I haven't heard Casey Kasem's voice since I was a kid listening on Sunday afternoons to America's Top 40. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that's better or worse than my Homer imitation from last week. So I think that's it for this podcast. Thank you for watching or listening.